Hello, welcome on Polish Foodies channel. Today we are going to cook Rosol, Polish broth. It's the most famous soup in Poland. We usually eat it every Sunday and the next day, which is Monday, we make a tomato soup out of it. You can also make other soup from Rosol. It can be, for example, COOKBOOKS. It's like the base for many other dishes. So if you want to try some Polish food or cook Polish food, you need to know how to cook your broth right. So before we start cooking, I will show you what can you add to rosol after it's cooked. So usually you add noodles, short and thin noodles. It's uncooked, so it's very these are sticks. So this is the most popular add-on to rosol. You can also add boiled potatoes. It's kind of regional food. So, for example, in my home we never eat rosol with cooked potatoes. And you can also add semolina. If you add semolina flour to the hot rosol, you will get a semolina broth pudding. The consistency is really interesting, and it's actually one of the favorite food of my 3-year-old daughter. So yeah, I have everything prepared. So this is the raw meat, different kind of meat. I will show you in a minute. And also vegetables. We have a carrot, we have parsley root, celery root, and garlic and onion. You can also add celery and different kind of vegetables to make it taste better, but it's like the basic for cooking the Polish broth. Okay, so now I will show you what kind of meat do we have. So the meat is already washed with water. You need to remember to wash it before. And I have a piece of beef. Here is the half of the chicken. The more bones, the better for the broth. And here is the duck wing and turkey leg. And the most important part of making rosol is to make it clear. If you want it to be clear, you need to wash the meat before and then cover it with cold water. Okay, so now we have to put the meat on the oven. So the key to the perfect broth is to cook it slowly on the very low heat. So perfectly you will cook your rosol for the entire day, at least 3 hours to make it taste good. So you can never ever let your rosol go to the full boil, because it will be cloudy, and the perfect rosol should be clear. So I'm putting it on the low heat. And right now we have here just the meat and water, because when it will be hotter, we will get the white foam on the top and we will remove it to make the broth clear afterwards. So I'm cooking the meat until there is no more foam, and then I will add vegetables and cook it for another few hours. So you can also buy meat one day before and cover it with cold water and leave it overnight, and in the morning the water will be bloody and cloudy, so you can remove it, put the fresh water, and it will be even better for the taste. So yeah, we'll wait until it's cooked. Okay, so the broth has already been cooking for a few hours. And as you can see, there is no much foam because I put the meat with the water overnight. It stayed overnight, so the water was already unclean before. But still we have something to remove. So as you can see, this is something that you need to remove. I forgot to mention before that there are different kind of meats that you can put inside the broth. You can also put veal or rabbit. You don't really want to put pork inside because it will be a bit smelly. but still some housewives cook pork broth, and it's a base for the winter soups such as grochówka from the peas and kapuśniak. It's a soup from the sauerkraut, the fermented cabbage, and also for żurek and the fat soups. So yeah, it's quite clear right now. So we will put the vegetables. This is celery root, parsley root, some garlic cloves, onion. Be sure to not put too many onions inside, carrots inside, because the broth will be too sweet. And also onion. It has still the skin, because the color of the rosol will be better. We should also add some bay leaves for the better taste, and the allspice. Okay, so the broth is almost ready. Now we have to take off all the meat and the veggies. So you can either throw away the meat or use it to make some other dish for dinner, or for sandwich, for example. You can make Polish pasztet out of it. And when it comes to the veggies, I always use them to make the Polish potato salad, which is sałatka jarzynowa. You need to just boil the eggs additionally, and potatoes, add the ogórek kiszony, which is the fermented pickle, some mayo, and you have delicious salad ready. Okay, so even when you remove all of the things manually, you still have something left, and you want your rosol to be perfectly clear. That's why I use strainer to make sure there's nothing left. So as you can see, there's still something left, and yeah. And now it's time for seasoning. I'm just adding the salt, that's it. You can use also the pepper afterwards, but for me it's salt only. Yeah. And your broth is ready. Okay, so my tip for keeping rosol is to put the hot rosol inside the jar and twist it off, put it in the fridge, and you can keep it like that for 7 days or so. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to get the printable version of Polish rosol recipe, click link in the description below and visit Polish Foodies website.